The first time the alien ships appeared in the night sky, people across Earth thought it was a dream. Thousands of lights sparkled high above the clouds, moving with perfect formation. They weren't stars, they were machines. Giant ships made of silver metal, each glowing with a strange blue light. At first, everyone believed it was a message of peace. The aliens called themselves the Velthar Dominion, and their words came through every screen, every radio, every channel. They promised unity, progress, and a new age of order. Their voices sounded calm and beautiful, almost human. But behind that voice was something colder, something that did not understand what it meant to be human. When their ships landed, they came not as visitors, but as rulers. They said Earth had been selected to become part of their galactic system. To them, humans were not equals, just another species to organize under their control. The great cities of the world, New York, Tokyo, Paris, and Karachi, soon became silent. People disappeared into camps, communication lines failed, and the world lost its freedom within days. The Dominion celebrated their victory. Across their empire, they declared Earth officially under Velthar administration. They called humans an interesting but inefficient species. To them, it was over. But humanity was not finished. In the quiet darkness under a ruined city, a small group of survivors worked by the dim light of solar lamps. Among them was Dr. Evelyn Kale, a scientist who had once worked for Earth's space defense program. Her hair was gray from long nights and worry, but her eyes still carried a spark of determination. Around her were engineers, former soldiers, and even teenagers who refused to give up. They called themselves the Dawnfire Initiative. They had no armies, no fleets, and no advanced weapons, but they had knowledge, creativity, and hope. While the Dominion believed humans had been fully subdued, Evelyn and her team were already rebuilding old technologies in secret. They hid in underground tunnels, mountains, and abandoned research stations. Every piece of metal, every battery, every broken drone was collected and repaired. "We can't win by strength," Evelyn often said softly, "but we can survive by mind." Her words became the motto of the resistance. In another part of the world, Captain Jonas Kor sat in what used to be a control room of the Earth Fleet base in Nevada. The roof was open to the sky now, burned and broken, but the stars above gave him courage. He had once led a fleet of ships defending the planet, but their technology had been nothing compared to the alien power. The aliens didn't destroy his fleet. They simply disabled it with something far beyond understanding. Still, Jonas refused to leave. He trained small groups of survivors to move silently, to protect hidden human families, and to keep communication alive between scattered resistance cells. They used old satellites and coded transmissions hidden inside weather signals. When Evelyn's group finally reached out to him, Jonas couldn't believe what he heard. "Project Dawnfire," she said through the static-filled connection. "We found something old, something from before the fall. It might be a key." "What kind of key?" Jonas asked. "The kind that can open the future." Hidden beneath the Arctic ice, Evelyn's team had discovered a massive underground facility, an ancient human prototype defense lab that had been abandoned years ago. Inside were early designs for artificial intelligence systems meant to coordinate human ships during deep space missions. The technology had never been completed, but the foundation was there. If they could finish it, it could become something powerful, not as a weapon, but as a guide, a brain that could think faster than any human and adapt to the alien systems. While the Dominion watched Earth from orbit, believing everything was under control, humans worked quietly below their sensors. Months passed. The sky remained filled with the faint glow of alien stations, and Earth's oceans were mined for rare materials. The Dominion built tall spires across continents, drawing energy directly from the planet's core. They used humans as workers, but even under this shadow, people whispered stories. "Did you hear? A group in Asia hacked an alien drone. Someone in South America stole back a shuttle. There's a scientist building something underground." The whispers gave people courage. Humanity was not gone. In a small, hidden outpost near the ruins of old Berlin, Jonas met Evelyn in person for the first time. They had both risked everything to reach the meeting. Evelyn brought a small metallic case no larger than a laptop. Inside it glowed a faint pulse of blue light. "This is Helios, the AI core," Evelyn said. "It's incomplete, but it can learn. If we connect it with what's left of our defense network, We might rebuild our satellites. We could see where they can't. Jonas looked at her, then at the device. And if they find out? Then we lose everything, she said. But if we do nothing, we've already lost. As weeks turned into months, humans began to work in hidden unity. Mechanics repaired old vehicles to carry supplies. Farmers grew food in secret underground shelters. Programmers and scientists taught children how to code using small solar-powered screens. Even in despair, humans adapted. Meanwhile, on the alien command ship orbiting Earth, the Velthar leader, Commander Zynar, recorded a report for the Dominion Council. Subject species, stable. Resistance minimal. Productivity satisfactory, he said. Earth is compliant. He did not know that deep below, humans had already learned how to intercept and read his transmissions. Every compliant report gave Evelyn and Jonas more information about the alien systems. Helios, the AI, slowly grew smarter each day. It learned human languages, old satellite codes, and even bits of the alien signal patterns. It began to speak with its own calm digital voice. "Dr. Kale," it said one night, "if I simulate the Dominion's network, I can predict when their patrol ships will pass near Mars orbit. That might give us a window." Evelyn stared at the screen, surprised. "You're learning faster than expected." "Humans adapt," Helios replied simply. Evelyn smiled faintly. "Yes, we do." Then came the moment that changed everything. One night, Helios detected a strange pattern in the Dominion's communication. A message was being sent between their command ships, one that mentioned something new. Full extraction cycle, Earth complete. Evelyn's heart stopped for a moment. She called Jonas immediately. "They're planning to leave Earth," she said quickly, "but not before taking everything, our oceans, our atmosphere, our energy. They'll drain the planet and move on." Jonas's voice was calm but firm. "Then we stop them before they start." The Dawnfire Initiative was no longer about survival. It was about reclaiming their world. While the Dominion continued to celebrate their control, the first secret human signals began to pulse across the planet. They were not loud, not destructive, just quiet patterns of light like old radio beacons whispering across the void. From one side of the world to the other, people began to recognize them. It was Morse code, a message: Project Dawnfire active, humanity endures. On that night, Evelyn stood under the cold sky, watching the alien lights above. She did not feel fear anymore. She felt something far stronger: hope. In the alien command center, Zynar's assistant noticed a strange flicker on one of the monitors. "Commander," he said, "there's an anomaly in the human communication network." Zynar didn't bother to look up. "Ignore it. They're harmless." He smiled slightly, certain of his victory. He did not know that somewhere beneath the frozen ground of Earth, the first spark of rebellion had already been lit, and that soon, the galaxy would learn what humans do best. They rise. Years had passed since the Velthar Dominion took control of Earth. To the aliens, the planet was now only a part of their large galactic map, a small blue world that had stopped resisting long ago. The skies were quiet. Cities were rebuilt not for humans, but for machines. The tall alien towers shone with cold light, and drones moved silently through the air. Many humans were made to work in the factories or on the alien farms. Some had accepted their fate, but others had not. In the hidden corners of the world, small sparks of hope still glowed. In the ruins of an old orbital station near the moon, a young engineer named Mira Valen floated among broken metal. Her suit was patched and old, but her eyes were bright and focused. She was searching through the wreckage for something, anything useful. Her scanner beeped softly. "There you are," she whispered, smiling under her cracked helmet. She found a small silver sphere half buried inside a broken satellite. It was covered in dust and scratches, but it was still glowing faintly. Mira brought it back to her small workshop, a cold, dim room inside the station's lower deck. She wiped the dust off and connected it to her portable power cell. The screen on her table flickered to life, showing old Earth Federation codes. "An AI fragment," she said softly. "You survived the fall." The machine blinked once and then displayed a message in broken English. "System. Fragment active. Identity A9. Request link." Mira grinned. "All right, A9. Let's bring you back." Mira had grown up after the fall of Earth. She had never seen the world before the invasion, but she had heard stories from her grandfather, Stories about oceans, cities filled with music, and people looking up at the stars with dreams. Those stories had kept her alive. Now she worked alone in orbit, hidden from the Dominion scanners, scavenging from forgotten satellites. Most people on the ground thought the resistance had ended years ago. But Mira knew the truth. Dr. Evelyn Kale and Captain Jonas Core were still out there. Project Dawnfire still existed. Her goal was to reconnect them. Meanwhile, on Earth's surface, Jonas Core continued to lead small resistance teams. He had grown older, but his spirit was still unbroken. Every day, he trained young volunteers in secret places, old tunnels, basements, forests, teaching them how to survive and communicate without being caught by alien surveillance. He had one rule: never act alone. Humanity wins when it stands together. The Dominion believed humans had no communication system left. But Jonas's teams used simple and clever tricks: light reflections, coded songs, and hidden radio bursts disguised as natural signals. It was slow, but it worked. Jonas often looked up at the night sky and wondered if anyone out there still remembered Earth. He didn't know that high above him, Mira was rebuilding something powerful enough to connect them all. Weeks passed. Mira spent long nights repairing A9. It began to speak clearly now, its voice calm and smooth. "Engineer Mira Valen," it said one evening. "I can detect long-range frequencies in the outer orbits. I believe I can restore part of Earth's old defense communication grid." Mira looked surprised. "You can do that?" "With your help," A9 replied. Together they began working. She repaired old antennas, reconnected wires, and reprogrammed power cells to restart the network. She even managed to reactivate one of the hidden relays near Mars. For the first time in years, a signal traveled freely from space to Earth. It was weak, but it was there. Jonas received it in an underground control room. The signal was short, almost like a whisper. "This is Mira Valen. Dawnfire still burns." Jonas smiled, feeling a deep warmth in his chest. "She did it," he whispered. But not everyone on Earth believed in hope anymore. Some thought it was too late. Many people had accepted alien control because it offered safety and food. The Dominion made sure to keep them comfortable, to make resistance look foolish. Mira understood this well. She knew people had lost faith not because they were weak, but because they were tired. So she planned something that could reignite their belief, a message that every human could see. With A9's help, she hacked into the Dominion's main broadcast satellite. It was dangerous, but she didn't care. If she could take control for even a few seconds, she could remind the world that humanity was still alive. On the night of the operation, she floated before the flickering screen. A9's digital eyes glowed blue. "Ready?" she asked. "Ready," the AI replied. She pressed a few keys and the satellite systems began to shake. The Dominion's code walls were strong, but she had studied their patterns for months. One by one, she broke through. Then success. All across Earth, every alien screen and hologram flickered. Workers stopped what they were doing, looking up in confusion. The image of the Dominion's leader vanished. In its place appeared a simple symbol, the old Earth flag, and below it, words appeared in white light. "We are not gone. Project Dawnfire lives. Humanity endures." The transmission lasted only 10 seconds before the Dominion regained control. But those 10 seconds changed everything. People whispered, cheered quietly, or simply cried. For the first time in years, hope spread across the planet again. Up in space, Mira watched the signal end. The alarms around her blared. She had been detected. Drones were searching for her station. "Mira," A9 said, "they are tracking our position." "I know," she said, typing fast. "Send the data to Earth before they cut us off." She transmitted all her files, maps, algorithms, and communication frequencies to Jonas's resistance base. Then she disconnected the main power and drifted silently in the dark. Moments later, the drones passed by, unable to find her hidden signal. Mira smiled faintly. "Not bad for a human, right?" "You are more than efficient," A9 said softly. "You are creative," she laughed quietly. "That's what makes us human." On Earth, Jonas received Mira's data and gathered his closest team around a small projector. The files showed the positions of the Dominion's relay satellites and the gaps in their surveillance grid. "This," Jonas said slowly, "this changes everything." For the first time, humanity could move freely between hidden bases without being detected. They could deliver supplies, send messages and plan for something greater, a real counter-strategy. Evelyn Kale, now working in a desert research bunker, received the same data and smiled. "She's done it," she whispered. "The network is ours again." The Dominion soon realized something was wrong. Commander Zynar stood inside his tall ship, staring at a glowing screen filled with strange readings. "Explain this," he said to his officers. "How did the humans access our broadcast channel?" One of them replied nervously, "We do not know. It appears improvised, random." "Random?" Zynar repeated slowly. "No, humans are not random. They are unpredictable." He frowned, watching the static flicker on the screen. "Keep watching them." But the truth was they couldn't. Mira's interference had blinded their scanners for several minutes every hour. In those minutes, humans all over the planet began to move, carrying messages, reconnecting with other resistance cells and sharing the signal she had sent. The words, "Project Dawnfire Lives," became a secret greeting. People wrote it on walls, carved it into tools, and whispered it to strangers. It was no longer just a message. It was a promise. Mira spent the following weeks in silence, repairing her station again. She often stared out at the stars and imagined Earth below glowing with life. "Do you think they'll remember us?" she asked A9 one night. "They already do," the AI replied, "because you reminded them who they are." She smiled, thinking of Jonas and Dr. Kale. "Then it's time for the next step." "What step?" A9 asked. "The fleet," she said softly. "We're going to rebuild it." Far below, in an underground hall filled with faint light, Jonas spoke to the new recruits. He looked around at the faces. Farmers, students, engineers, old and young. All had come because they saw that single message on the alien screens. He raised his voice so everyone could hear. "The Dominion thinks we are broken," he said. "They think we forgot who we are. But we are humans. We don't stop when things fall apart. We rebuild." The crowd nodded, their eyes full of determination. And for the first time since the fall of Earth, the underground base echoed with something long forgotten. Laughter. The aliens continued their work above, unaware that the ashes beneath their feet were glowing brighter every day. A9's data was spreading across the human networks. Evelyn Kale was building something in the desert, and Mira Valen was preparing for a greater task, one that would bring humanity back to the stars. The Dominion celebrated their control. They didn't realize the truth. The real celebration hadn't begun yet, because the humans were coming back. The message "Project Dawnfire Lives" had spread like a soft wind through the broken lands of Earth. People whispered it in secret corners, painted it on walls, and shared it through coded signals. The world that had once been silent now carried the quiet heartbeat of hope. And far beyond Earth's sky, deep within the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, something extraordinary was taking shape, something the aliens could not see. A small asteroid called Erebus 9 drifted among millions of rocks, appearing ordinary from the outside. But hidden beneath its dark surface, humans had built a secret base, a place that did not exist on any alien map. It was here that Captain Jonas, core and engineer Mira Valen finally stood. Together, Jonas looked at the half-finished ships floating in the hollow space carved out of the asteroid. They were not like old Earth ships. These were hybrids, half-human, half-alien design. Their shapes were uneven, their metal mismatched, but they worked. Each piece was built from scavenged parts repaired with patience and human creativity. Mira smiled proudly. They laughed at us for calling these ships human-made. But look at them now. They are alive because of us. Jonas nodded, running his hand along the surface of one unfinished hull. "We don't have the biggest fleet," he said, "but we'll have the smartest one." The base buzzed with quiet energy. Men and women of all ages worked together. Some repaired engines using tools built from melted kitchen appliances. Others studied alien technology, trying to understand how it worked. And in the control room, Helios, the AI created by Dr. Evelyn Kale, had been fully linked to the asteroid's systems. Helios's calm voice echoed through the halls. "Captain Jonas, Dominion patrols are passing near Mars orbit. We remain invisible. Their sensors cannot detect us." Jonas looked up at the glowing blue screen. "Good, keep it that way. How's the fleet's progress?" 70% of ships are operational," Helios replied. "However, power sources are limited." "We require more energy cells," Mira stepped in. I have a plan for that. There's a Dominion mining station near Ceres. They throw away damaged reactor cores. If we can collect them, we can build enough cells to power 20 ships. Jonas smiled. That's exactly the kind of plan I like. Smart and quiet. While Mira led the engineering team, Jonas coordinated the growing network of human colonies. Many of them were still trapped on Earth or on small moons. But Helios helped connect them through hidden transmissions. Dr. Evelyn Kale, now operating from her desert bunker, had become the center of communication, Earth's hidden voice in the stars. Every week, she sent updates to Erebus 9. More people are joining, she said in one message. Even some alien citizens are questioning the Dominion's rule. They see what we're doing. Jonas listened and replied, Good. The more who believe, the less they can control. He turned to Mira. We're not just fighting for Earth anymore. We're showing the whole galaxy what humans can do. Mira nodded. Then we'll give them something worth remembering. The construction continued for months. Every day, new ships came to life, each with a human name painted on its side. Hope, Aurora, Spirit, Rising Dawn. Helios managed their data and taught the engineers how to merge alien energy systems with human control modules. The results were amazing. The ships were faster, lighter, and able to adapt quickly. When the workers rested, they often looked out into the vast black of space and smiled. For the first time in years, they didn't feel like survivors. They felt like builders of destiny. One evening, Mira floated near the observation dome, staring at the stars. Helios's soft blue light flickered beside her. You seem thoughtful, the AI said. I'm just wondering, she replied. What will happen when they find out what we've built? They will be surprised, Helios said simply. Their sensors cannot imagine humans working together without control. Mira chuckled. That's because they don't understand what keeps us alive. And what is that? Helios asked. Faith, she said softly. Not in machines, not in leaders, but in each other. Meanwhile, on the Dominion command ship DEATHWORLD, Commander Zynar received new reports. His alien eyes scanned through lines of data. There are unusual readings in the asteroid belt, said one of his officers. It could be natural interference. Or something else, Zynar frowned. Humans do not have the technology to survive there. Perhaps not, the officer said carefully. Zynar turned away from the screen, his tone firm. Keep watch anyway. If there is anything there, I want to know. But the humans were clever. Their ships emitted the same radiation pattern as the surrounding rocks. To the Dominion scanners, Erebus 9 was nothing more than another piece of cold stone. Back at the base, Mira's plan for gathering reactor cores began. Small cargo crafts left Erebus 9 disguised as debris collectors. They traveled silently toward the mining station near Ceres. Inside one of those crafts, a young pilot named Terran Holt gripped the controls nervously. He had never flown so close to Dominion property before. Helios's voice guided him calmly. Maintain course. Dominion sensors detect you as an automated miner. Terran took a deep breath. Understood. The mission went smoothly. The humans collected dozens of discarded reactor cores, each one still holding usable energy. They brought them back to Erebus 9, where Mira's team re-engineered them into clean power units. When the first ship, the Spirit, powered up, the whole base cheered. The lights of the ship glowed bright white like a new star being born. Jonas smiled proudly. We just made history, he said. And they don't even know it yet. As days turned into weeks, the asteroid base became more than a factory. It became a city of dreams. Families joined. Scientists taught children about the stars, and artists painted walls with bright colors to remind everyone of Earth. Jonas often walked among them quietly, feeling the warmth of humanity even in the coldness of space. He knew every person there carried pain from the past, but now they also carried purpose. In the main hall, he stood before a crowd and spoke. We've been called weak, lost, broken, he said, his voice echoing through the chamber. But look at what we've built. We took their discarded parts and turned them into hope. We don't need to match their power. We just need to show them that humans never stop creating. The crowd clapped softly, their hearts full of pride. Helios's voice followed, calm but firm. I have completed the analysis. The Dominion relies on a single communication relay to control their fleets. If that relay is disrupted, their command will be silent for several hours. Jonas looked at Mira. That could be our chance. She nodded. We're not ready for a full fight yet, but we can send a message. Jonas smiled. Exactly. Let's remind them we still exist. The humans prepared a small test mission. They called it Operation Whisper. Its goal was simple, to send a short-coded signal into the Dominion system, a signal that would make them think their own network was malfunctioning. Helios managed the operation from the command deck. Transmission ready, it announced. Signal frequency aligned. Jonas stood beside Mira. Let's do it. With a single press of a button, the message went out, a harmless digital wave that bounced between Dominion satellites, creating confusion in their data. On DEATHWORLD, alarms sounded as their systems glitched. "Commander," shouted an officer, "we're receiving strange feedback from our relay network." Xenar frowned. "Identify the source." "We can't," the officer said. "It seems to come from everywhere." Xenar's expression hardened. "Check the human channels." All of them. But by the time they started scanning, the signal was gone, and deep in the asteroid belt, the humans celebrated quietly. Jonas laughed softly. "We didn't break their system, but we made them nervous." Mira smiled. "That's enough for now." Weeks later, Jonas and Mira gathered their teams in the main hangar. Dozens of new ships floated in the distance, their metal shining under artificial light. Helios projected a map of the solar system. "With the resources we now have," it said, "we can expand. There are abandoned human colonies near Saturn's moons. If we reach them, we can grow stronger." Jonas looked around at his crew. "Then that's our next step. We don't rush. We build, we learn, we adapt," Mira added softly. "And one day, when they least expect it, we'll rise together." In her bunker on Earth, Dr. Evelyn Kale received the newest message from Erebus 9. She read it with quiet pride. "Fleet progress complete. Hidden Armada active." She looked out at the night sky, her eyes reflecting the distant stars. "You did it, Jonas." "You did it, Mira," she whispered. Above her, far beyond the reach of any alien eye, dozens of human ships drifted in silence, waiting, learning, preparing. They didn't shine like the alien fleets. They didn't need to. They were the hidden heartbeat of a reborn species. They were the hidden armada, and soon the galaxy would remember their name. The solar system had grown quiet again, or at least it seemed so. To the Dominion, Earth was under control and the human race was no longer a threat. Patrols moved smoothly, satellites hummed across orbit, and alien citizens continued their daily routines, unaware that something extraordinary was happening in the shadows. On Erebus 9, Captain Jonas Kor and Engineer Mira Vallon were not idle. Their hidden armada floated silently in the asteroid belt, dozens of human ships ready but unseen. Children and engineers moved through the base like ants, preparing resources, storing energy cells, and studying alien technologies. Helios, the AI, spoke calmly in the control room. "Captain, the Dominion patrols are aligned along predictable patterns. If we act now, we can disrupt their communication for several hours." Jonas nodded slowly. "This is it, Mira. Everything we've built leads to this moment." Mira tightened her gloves, checking the ship's controls one last time. "We won't harm them, not yet. We just need to remind them humans are not gone." Far above, the Dominion command ship DEATHWORLD glided smoothly through orbit near Mars. Commander Xenar looked down at Earth's surface. "All human activity is negligible," he said confidently. They remained compliant. The system is stable. Yet something nagged at him. He had noticed small anomalies, signals, glitches, and interference patterns that appeared and disappeared as if by chance. His officers assured him it was nothing, but Xenar could sense it. The humans were not gone. Something in their history, their unpredictability, had not yet died. On Erebus 9, Jonas activated the first step of the plan. Helios began sending a coordinated signal through the human network, linking the scattered colonies, hidden outposts, and secret satellites. The AI calculated the Dominion fleet positions, adjusting transmission frequencies to avoid detection. "Signal ready," Helios announced. "Synchronization in 3, 2, 1. The hidden armada's lights flickered as thousands of transmissions launched simultaneously across the system. Dominion scanners designed to detect even minor interference were suddenly overwhelmed. On the command ship, alarms blared for the first time in years. Screens flickered and went blank. Messages from patrol fleets stopped mid-transmission. Machines began to fail, not from damage but from confusion. What is happening? Zynar demanded. Unknown, Commander, one officer replied. It appears silent. All communication is down. Zynar's alien eyes narrowed. Check their frequencies. Find the source. But the signal had vanished, leaving only silence. Across the colonies, humans moved with renewed courage. In New Shanghai, engineers restored power to a hidden school, allowing children to learn coding and navigation. On the icy plains of Antarctica, farmers led small groups to safely gather food for families still hiding underground. On Mars, scattered colonists connected with each other for the first time in years, sharing resources and hope. All of them were coordinated by a single digital mind, Helios, and guided by the hidden armada, which moved silently among the asteroids. It was a reminder. Humanity had not been broken. It had only been waiting. Mira and Jonas watched from the control deck as small human ships moved like shadows through the asteroid belt. Each one carried supplies, engineers, or messages to the hidden colonies. Helios projected a map of the Dominion's network. Their fleets are blind, it said. We can observe their movement patterns without detection. We can plan the next step, Jonas smiled. They think they are celebrating. But they don't know the party has just started. Mira laughed softly. Let's make sure they remember who humans really are. Commander Zynar paced the bridge of Vareth Prime, frustration growing. Our systems are failing, an officer reported. The humans, they are moving faster than we can track. Zynar slammed a clawed hand on the control panel. Impossible. They cannot coordinate like this. They have no fleet. They don't, another officer said cautiously. But they have something else. Intelligence, adaptability, unpredictability. Zynar's expression hardened. Then we must watch them. Do not underestimate them. But even as he spoke, human ships continued their movements. Invisible and precise, delivering energy, supplies, and knowledge to every corner of the solar system. Back on Erebus 9, Mira prepared for the next step. Helios, she said, we need a stronger signal. Something the Dominion cannot ignore. A reminder that humans are not gone. Agreed, Helios replied. We can target their relay satellites and send a harmless broadcast across their entire fleet. It will appear as if the system itself is alerting them. Jonas looked thoughtful. We're not harming them. This is just a message. Yes, Mira said. A message they cannot forget. The AI calculated the sequence, and moments later, the hidden armada sent a wave of data that traveled silently across the Dominion network. Machines flickered, lights went dim, and the alien fleet systems paused in confusion. On every Dominion ship, officers looked at their screens in disbelief. Commander, one shouted. All channels down. They are sending something. Zynar stared at the data stream. For the first time, he felt uncertainty. Humans. They were capable of far more than he had imagined. Meanwhile, Jonas and Mira coordinated the colonies. Small human ships moved to the surface, reconnecting scattered outposts and restoring communications. Farmers, engineers, and teachers all worked together, guided by Helios and protected by the hidden armada. Children laughed in secret schools, learning about stars, satellites, and signals. Adults repaired machines and built energy cells. And every time a message went out, humans knew that they were no longer isolated, no longer powerless. The Dominion had thought Earth was silent. But the truth was simple. Humans were awake. In the silence that followed, a new pattern emerged. Zynar, who had never feared humans before, began to doubt. His officers whispered about the impossibility of it all. How could a species that had been considered defeated suddenly appear everywhere at once? How could they coordinate without visible fleets or centralized power? The answer was clear, even if the Dominion could not admit it. Humans were not just survivors. They were learners, adapters, and creators, and their strength was not in numbers. It was in their mind. On Erebus 9, Mira floated in zero gravity, watching the stars through the observation dome. Jonas joined her silently. They can't see us, Mira said softly. They can't touch us. No, Jonas replied. But they will know. They will know that humans are still here, that we can rise again. Helios's voice added, calm as ever. Captain, the fleets remain disoriented. Their patrols are confused. We have the opportunity to expand our influence across the colonies. Jonas nodded. Good. Let's make sure no one thinks humans are defeated again. Far below, Dr. Evelyn Kale watched the night sky from her desert bunker. She had received updates from Erebus 9 and her heart swelled with pride. They did it, she whispered. The Armada, the colonies, the children learning again. Humanity is waking. She looked at the small group around her, each one a part of the resistance. And this is only the beginning. One day the galaxy will remember what we can do. Back on the Dominion command ship, Zynar finally spoke aloud. Prepare the fleets. Watch the humans closely. They are unpredictable. They are more than they seem. It was the first time he had admitted it, the first time he had allowed doubt to enter his mind. And that doubt would grow. On Erebus 9, the hidden armada rested quietly in the asteroid belt. Ships glimmered like tiny stars, energy cells hummed softly, and humans prepared for the next stage. They had not attacked. They had not harmed. They had only reminded the Dominion that Earth still breathed, still dreamed, and still believed, and that simple reminder changed everything. Jonas and Mira stood together on the observation deck. The stars went silent today, Jonas said. But not because of them. Because of us, Mira nodded, smiling. And tomorrow we will shine even brighter. The galaxy waited unknowingly for the rising of humanity, and humanity was ready. The solar system had changed. From Earth to the outer planets, whispers of human activity traveled unseen. Colonies that had once been isolated were now connected. Fleets that had once been broken were now united. And a species that had been considered defeated was quietly preparing to remind the galaxy who they were. Erebus 9, the hidden asteroid base, had become the heart of this revival. Captain Jonas Kor stood on the observation deck, overlooking dozens of human ships ready for deployment. Beside him, engineer Mira Valen reviewed the final preparations for the fleet's first coordinated operation. Helios, the AI that had become the mind of the Armada, spoke calmly. All systems operational. The Dominion remains unaware of our full capacity. Human communication networks are synchronized across the solar system. We are ready for the next phase. Jonas exhaled, feeling a weight lift from his shoulders. The hidden Armada is no longer hidden. Today we remind the Dominion that humans endure. Across Earth, Dr. Evelyn Kale and her team worked tirelessly to strengthen the planetary network. Communication relays, hidden power stations, and covert outposts had been upgraded. Even small settlements on the Moon and Mars had been integrated into the growing human network. Everything is aligned, Evelyn said, looking at a holographic projection of the solar system. Satellites, colonies, fleets, all connected. Humanity is ready to act in unison. Her eyes flickered to a small group of young engineers working beside her. Remember, she said, this is more than technology. This is hope. We are showing the galaxy that humans never give up. High above, the Dominion remained unaware of the impending change. Commander Zynar still believed his forces were in control, and he continued to monitor Earth's orbit with growing unease. They are quiet, he said to his officers. Too quiet. Check every sensor. An officer hesitated. Commander, we have detected minor interference across several relay satellites. It seems deliberate, Zynar's expression tightened. Humans are clever, but they are contained. Keep watching them. They are not yet a threat. Yet even as he spoke, humans across the solar system were coordinating like never before. Hidden fleets moved silently from the asteroid belt to the outer moons, carrying supplies, intelligence, and energy cells. On Erebus 9, Mira and Jonas prepared the fleet for a demonstration, a first step to show the Dominion that humans were not defeated. This is not an attack, Jonas reminded the team. It is a message, one that cannot be ignored. Mira nodded, checking each ship's systems. We'll keep it peaceful, but we'll make it impossible for them to deny our existence. The hidden Armada launched from the asteroid base, moving in perfect formation toward the outer edge of the solar system. The ships glimmered like stars against the black void, hundreds of small crafts moving silently, each one built by human hands. Helios's voice guided them. Fleet alignment complete. Begin visual broadcast sequence. At the same moment across Earth, Dr. Kale activated the planetary relay network. Holographic projectors on satellites, hidden city rooftops, and lunar outposts lit up simultaneously. Across every Dominion-controlled city, screens flickered and went dark for a moment. Then, in place of the usual alien displays, images of Earth's hidden human colonies appeared. The message was simple yet powerful. We are still here. Humanity survives. Humanity thrives. People across the world paused, watching in amazement. Some gasped. Some smiled. Some quietly wept. The message did not carry threats or destruction. It carried certainty. Humans had endured. Even Zynar's officers were taken aback. "Commander," one whispered, "it appears—" "They are everywhere." Zynar's alien eyes narrowed. "They are more than they seem," he admitted. "Prepare our observation fleets. Watch them carefully. They may be small, but they are persistent." In the asteroid belt, the hidden armada glowed under the light of distant stars. Jonas and Mira watched as Helios managed the synchronized transmissions. Every fleet movement, every colony connection, every ship powered and moving was visible to the Dominion, but untouchable. Mira whispered, "They can see us, but they can't stop us." Jonas smiled. "It's the first step toward reclaiming our place among the stars." Helios added calmly, "The system now understands the presence of human activity. Dominion control is partially compromised. However, no damage has occurred. The demonstration is complete." The ships glided silently back to Erebus 9, leaving the Dominion to ponder the meaning of human ingenuity. Back on Earth, Evelyn Kale looked at the glowing screens. Hidden colonies across deserts, mountains, and polar regions were alive and connected. Supplies were moving, children were learning, and families were safe. "This is just the beginning," she said softly. "We've reminded them we exist, but we will also remind ourselves what we are capable of." For weeks after the demonstration, humans continued their quiet expansion. Hidden fleets traveled between moons and asteroids, establishing supply routes and safe havens. Farmers, engineers, scientists, and families all contributed to the growing network of humanity. Even the youngest children learned the meaning of teamwork, resilience, and hope. They learned that they were not just survivors, they were architects of a new era. Helios calculated future possibilities, helping humans adapt to any Dominion response. "Captain," the AI said, "our species can now operate fully without detection. We can expand safely. Humans are ready for further exploration." Jonas nodded. "Then we continue. Step by step, planet by planet, colony by colony. We are humans. We adapt, we endure, we rise." Commander Zynar watched the Dominion fleet reports with growing concern. Humans were no longer scattered and weak. They were organized, coordinated, and learning faster than he could predict. They are clever," he admitted aloud. "We may have underestimated them." His officers looked worried. Zynar's confidence, once absolute, now showed cracks. And for the first time he realized that humans were not merely a species to control, they were a force to reckon with. Months later, the hidden armada had grown. Ships filled with energy, supplies, and knowledge moved freely across the solar system. Human colonies flourished. The planet itself, once subdued, now felt alive with quiet rebellion and creative energy. Jonas and Mira stood together on the observation deck of Erebus 9. "We've done more than survive," Mira said softly. "We've reminded everyone what humans can do." Jonas smiled. "And we've done it without harming anyone. That is our greatest strength, the ability to endure, adapt, and rise above." Helios's voice echoed in agreement. "Humanity has demonstrated intelligence, creativity, and resilience. The Dominion is aware of our presence yet cannot fully control it. The future belongs to those who act wisely." Mira looked at Jonas. The stars were silent before, but now they are listening. Back on Earth, children watched the night sky and pointed at the moving lights of human ships in orbit. Teachers explained that those ships were built by humans, guided by humans, and that humans had not been defeated. Families whispered stories of the hidden armada, of courage, ingenuity, and hope. The words Project Dawnfire became a symbol of pride, a reminder that no matter how dark the night, humans could light their own way. Dr. Evelyn Kale wrote in her journal, "We are no longer silent. We are not hidden. We are humanity and we endure. Our story has only just begun." Commander Zynar remained on Vareth Prime, contemplating the unexpected resilience of humans. For the first time in his long life, he felt a hint of respect for the species he had sought to control. "They may be small," he muttered to himself, "but they are remarkable." And so humanity began a new chapter. They did not seek revenge. They did not strike blindly. They rebuilt. They connected. They explored. The hidden armada became a symbol of what humans could achieve together. The colonies thrived. Knowledge was shared. Creativity blossomed. Above all, humans had reminded the galaxy and themselves that survival was not enough. To endure, to adapt, and to rise again, that was the true measure of humanity. The stars no longer went silent. They listened, and the galaxy remembered, humans rise.